This is Sailing Anarchy, live from the Volvo Ocean Race, Boston's Fan Pier. We are privileged to be sitting here today with Bouwe Bekking, skipper of Telefonica Blue, who is currently sitting second place overall in the Volvo Ocean Race. Now, Bouwe, you had a dominating performance on Saturday with 2 victories over the home team Puma. How did you manage to be so dominant in the breeze here off of Boston?
Yeah, I think we've been pretty good in the inshore races. I think we won our 3 out of the 5 races, and in the other 2 we've been on the podium. We're pretty fast, I have to admit that, and we had light conditions over here. Our boat seems to like the lighter conditions in the flat water. And then we just sailed well again. So yeah, it was quite easy. We were the favourites before, but we pulled it off again. So just a strong performance of the team.
Now, you said your conditions coming up here from Rio, you had a very dominant position, and then you were reeled in by Ericsson 4. What happened there with Ericsson 4?
Yeah, we basically made the wrong call. Everybody knew that we jibed too early, and it was a fuck up, and that's just how racing sometimes goes. It would have been nice if we would jibe 2 hours later, and we would have been probably just fine. But yeah, we made a wrong call over there, and that cost us dearly. We lost 40 miles compared to all the other ones, and went from first to fourth. So yeah, that's just how yard racing sometimes goes. You cannot always predict things, but this is how it went. And we had a fantastic comeback because we overtook Puma again in the 3rd place. So the end was good. We had a day which was really bad, but that's just how it goes.
There's some rumors around the dock that Ericsson 4 is sailing below its potential. Do you believe that that's true?
No, I don't believe it at all. Everybody's just sailing 100%. That's the same. We're all in for winning this race, and yeah, for sure they're not sailing under their potential. They have a fantastic boat, they have a great crew, and I know a lot of the guys have been racing with them, and they will push to the limits.
Now, you've been involved with the Volvo. This is your 6th Volvo Whipwreck, I believe. Last race around, leaving America for the Atlantic, you never made it to the other side, and here you are back again with the same sponsors, the same designer, and much of the same crew. How did you bring the confidence back to all of these people that you could do another program and survive around the world and succeed?
Well, I think just in the last race, I think we performed really good. We had a great team. Just the boat let us down in the end. We know that the boat sunk on this leg, but I think like we shown like after ABM we were probably the boat to beat, at least for the far designs. I think we were 2nd overall when we left over here. And yeah, we would never have won the race, we can be saying that honestly enough. But I think we had a fair shot of becoming 2nd overall and 3rd. And for me, of course, it was a big thing to prove again that we could have done way better in the last race. And as well, the sponsors were very happy in general with the results that we had last time and with the publicity. So they asked me back, and that's why I'm here.
And you came back again with Far Yacht Design, and in many ways you have the most innovative boat in the fleet. I know you had Michael Desoyeux on board on Saturday, and he stepped off the boat saying, my God, this boat's built awfully heavy, but other people in the fleet seem to think you have the lightest built boat. You're the only boat with a cathedral rig. You went with an innovative bow section. How did you make the decision to break from the design norm and go with an innovative boat this time around?
Well, I think it's everybody. Everybody always tries to do their best, and I think we have a fantastic boat. We push some areas where we think we could make gains, and that's why the boat is looking different. And I think it doesn't look like, in that sense, as a classical far design boat, because normally far is always looking really good-looking boats. And yeah, this is not the most pretty-looking boat, but we thought we could get the best out of it. And why are we lighter than the rest? The way is just with the deep cockpit and with this very small coast, we've been saving weight in that sense. Lighter than the other ones. We're not, because we still have to pass all the core samples, what the Volvo measures are taking. So I think everybody's on minimum panel weight, and so are we, and that's why you're coming on the numbers where we are.
Now, let's go back to the leg up the Yellow Sea. You were the only boat that made the decision to go out there and really race hard. How was that for your family to be watching you, knowing that in the real rough conditions the last time your boat sank? How does your family respond to seeing treacherous conditions on the internet and boats breaking left and right, and how do you deal with that as a skipper?
Yeah, they don't like that at all. But the thing is always, like, the families are way more worried than us. They see things coming in the press, and sometimes the press is maybe blowing up things a little bit, and then they see the huge waves and the massive amount of wind. But that's, I think, one of the things is she knows that speaking specifically about my wife, that she trusts me, and she knows that I won't make any crazy calls. And that we kept carrying on over there was just mainly that I don't believe to be close to land in a big storm. I'd rather be away from the land, and we carried on, and the others stopped, and they broke down. But the families are normally way more worried than we are, because we know what we have in our hands, and we have the situation all under control. So they're not happy campers back home.
Now that said, what's been the scariest moment of the race so far for you?
It hasn't been really that bad. We had a real bad part just north of Taiwan, where the breeze was a little bit less, but we had 3 to 3.5 knots of current coming from behind, and we had 35, 40 knots coming on the nose, and the waves were just horrendous. And it was just like, that was the part we really had to keep the boat in one piece. And we dropped the mainsail over there and just sailed further, just with a J4 up, and really nosed the boats for roughly 15 to 20 hours over there. And it was just a matter of just getting through that, and that was, in that sense, maybe you can call it the scariest part, because if we would have broken over there, we would have been out of the race, and you would have been really looking stupid.
So what do you need to do to beat Ericsson 4?
First of all, we have to beat him, of course, in nearly every upcoming leg what there is, and of course in the import races. But we need to get some boats in between us, and that's up to the other ones. I think we've shown that we can beat him. We've beaten him in 5 races, or in two legs, and 3 import races. So it is possible, but we need to get boats in between us. We just have to make sure that they are doing a good job.
And finally, this past Friday you sailed with longtime sailing anarchist BJ Porter and his son Will, and Will has been on cloud 9 ever since he stepped off the boat. Did you ever think in the beginning of your career that you'd be childhood heroes to so many people around the globe right now?
Oh, that's just the thing when you're not even thinking about it. And I'm not a hero in that sense. I don't feel like a hero. I just always when I'm having guests, it doesn't matter from young to old, I just always like to give them a crack on the wheel, and that they're having the best time, because it is just a fantastic tool what we're having with a sailing boat. If you compare it to a Formula 1 car, none of the guests will ever drive a Formula 1 car, but that's the nice thing with a sailing boat, that they actually can have a drive and have a sail and have a fantastic time. Of course, that Will was with us. His eyes nearly popped out of his head when I asked him to grab the wheel. But he did a fantastic job, and I think he enjoyed it. And I think he has a great future in front of him, because now he's seen it from close by. And I hope he can make that he likes the sailing, and makes it maybe even a career, but at least like having a good time with it.
Fantastic. And last question: have you found all the uncharted rocks in and around Boston?
We found it actually at the entrance. Maybe you saw it, but it was very shallow one of the days we came in. We hit the bottom again, but there was no damage. Great.
So we'll see you start off clean this race, and
we start off clean, and we know it's very well charted over here. I think the Americans have a little bit more than the Chinese in that sense.
Great. Fantastic. Anything you'd like to say to Sailing Anarchy before we sign off?
Just you guys make sure that you're there in the next race with an entry. I've been saying it before. I think it will be a huge challenge. There are so many supporters of Sailing Anarchy. And I think all the supporters, what you're having as well, the financial side, we just have to land one big company, and then the Sailing Anarchy boat can be in the Volvo Ocean Race.
That would be a sight to see. All right, thank you very much. Again, this is Bouwe Bekking, Volvo Ocean Race here in Boston. Thank you.